Hey everyone, attorney Robert Buchanan here. JointCustodyAdvocates.com is the website. Are you the legal father, or how to become the legal father? That's what we're talking about today in this video. It's the first step that you really have to cross or make on your way to getting joint custody. If you're not the legal father, then you don't have any rights whatsoever to your child. You also don't have any obligations or responsibilities. So one way to know whether or not you're the legal father is to ask yourself whether or not you currently have a child support order. If you do have a child support order, then you are a legal father. That's why a lot of guys talk about, well, I'm going to go put myself on child support because they know that putting yourself on child support makes you the legal father. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to, put the cart before the horse. You don't need to sign yourself up to be paying child support to become the legal father. They often go hand in hand in the court process because when you start a custody case, the other side's often going to start a child support case. But that's okay. But you don't need to do the other side's work for them by putting yourself on child support in order to become the legal father. So let's talk about what it is to be a legal father and how the law actually breaks down. There are actually three types of paternity, and paternity is the word for legal fatherhood in Illinois. You can be the adjudicated father, you can be the acknowledged father, and you can be the presumed father. Presumed father is what happens when you have a child when you're married. You are presumed to be the father. You're on the birth certificate, and that's all you need in order to establish your rights as the father is being on the birth certificate of a child that you had when you were married. There are some nuances to that. You can be the presumed father when the child was born, before you were married and after you were married, but it's a little bit more nuanced. So we'll just say for our purposes, presumed father is when you had a kid and you were married and you're on the birth certificate. Now, the other two types of fatherhood, adjudicated father and acknowledged father, are the types of dads or legal fatherhood that come about when you are not married. And let's break down each one. We'll start with acknowledged father because that's kind of the most straightforward one and one that happens just naturally as part of the process. When you have a child in the hospital, you will be presented, the mother and the father will be presented with a form that's called a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. And it's got a bunch of fine print on it that you should absolutely read because the document's incredibly important. But this document basically says that if you sign this document, you are the legal father. Obviously, the mother needs to sign it as well. It's then sent into the state registry, if you will, and you become the legal father after signing that document. You cannot undo that document except for very, very specific circumstances, and there's a very tight timeline on undoing the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. Um, that is kind of the most ordinary course of business way of becoming the father. And then there's the adjudicated father. Adjudicated father is what happens when you put yourself on child support or when you just start a paternity case in court. An adjudicated father means that you went to court and either through a DNA test or through testimony, a judge entered an order that says that you're the father. You don't have to get a DNA test in order to become adjudicated father. Most often, it happens through agreement. You start a case, you serve the mother of your child, you set a court date, you show up in court. The judge says, do you guys agree that he's the father? Everyone says yes, and the judge signs off on the order. If there is not an agreement that you're the father, then the judge will sign an order for a DNA test. All parties and the child will be ordered to take the DNA test. Once the results come back, if it shows that you're 99.99% the father, then that adjudicated father order gets entered and you have your rights established. At that point, you've set the foundation to actually start a custody case. In practice, for example, when we're doing these cases, we all do it at once. Um, if we have a client that is not legally the father yet, we start the paternity case, the fatherhood case, with the custody case. We do have to lock in the paternity order first, and then we can go for the custody, but it expedites things by requesting everything at the same time from the court. So that's it. There's three types of fatherhood: presumed father, acknowledged father, adjudicated father. Either one of those or all of those will work if you're going for custody. You have to have one, though. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, concerns, or anything else, or if you got ideas for what I should talk about next. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.